Hi everyone, Christina from EdTech, and this video session is going to be about Classwize, which is our district's new classroom monitoring for devices. So we have this set up so it is attached to our Google accounts. That means that to have a classroom in Classwize so that you can see the screens of all of your students and kind of manipulate what they're doing on their device, you have to have a Google Classroom. So create a Google Classroom and roster your students appropriately. When you create a brand new Google Classroom, it will take a full nightly upload for it to appear in Classwize. Also, if you add students to a pre-existing Google Classroom, it will take a few hours for them to populate into Classwize so that you can monitor them. So let me show you how Classwize works and some tips and tricks as you're maneuvering within it. First, let's see how to log into Classwize. So let me move my picture over here. This is the login screen for Classwize. However, to access Classwize, open a brand new tab and just start typing Classwize. And that's with the Z right there at the end. It is classwize.linewise.net. And if you click on it, you're going to get to a login screen right here. This login screen has all of the schools that Classwize offers. However, we need to search for our school, so just start typing Colville, and it will pop up eventually. Colville.wa.us is ours. We are linked to Google, so when you press next and you sign in with your Google account so that all of your Google Classrooms will link up with Classwize. So let me go over here. I'm already logged into my Classwize classroom. Notice I have all of my Google Classrooms in here. Once you archive a Google Classroom, the Classwize will be archived and you won't be able to see it anymore. So if you're looking for a classroom and you don't know where it is, it's probably because it's archived in your Google Classroom. I'm going to use this classroom right here as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and press start the class. Now, if I wanted to, I could click on the little gear icon and it's going to show me a few things. It's going to show me who are my students in here, and I only have 2 test students right now. It'll show me the teachers in here. I am the only teacher. I could add a teacher if I wanted to. It has a scheduling option, and I'm always going to recommend to not do the scheduling option. Always start and end a class individually. Scheduling will be very difficult once our schedules start changing, or maybe it's just a different class period because of an assembly day. Do not do scheduling. Always start and end a class. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press start. I'm going to choose the duration of time for my classroom. Now, you don't get to choose specific class times. You get to choose what they have available, but it's okay because you can always extend a session or you can end a session early. It's really up to you. So I'm going to choose 30 minutes for my class session and press start. Then I see that my 2 students are going to appear in little tabs. There are 2 different views here. You can look at the screen view, which is what we're looking at right now, and it gives you a little glimpse of what they're looking at on their screen, or you can look at the list view. Let's see what that looks like. The list view shows the different tabs that are open on the student device. So this student right here has 3 different tabs working. This student only has 1 tab working, and it's a Google search tab, and he is looking at cats. Let's go back to the screen view. Notice, though, that it shows you the tab that they are visibly looking at. And then right down here below, it shows you tabs that are open behind them. So that's one way to see what is also open on their computer. Again, that was screen view versus list view. Now, over on the right-hand side, up at the very top, you have some class tools. One way I like to think about it is class tools affects everybody in the entire class. We have a way to monitor or to manipulate student devices for a whole class or for individual students. Let's start with whole classes. If I wanted to, I could open up a site for my students. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click open site, and I'm going to type in the URL for the site that I want them to go to. So I'm going to grab the URL really quick and I'm going to paste it in there and press open site. Notice that all of their students' devices, their site is now opening up. Now, it does take some time for it to populate over into the teacher screen, but it's almost instantaneous for those who are working on their device. If I ever need to, just refresh. For some reason, Classwize really likes to be refreshed often. So if you just see a little lag time, just refresh your computer. So I have Khan Academy open up on their device. Now, opening a site, and again, that's in the Class Tools open site, does not mean that the kids are locked into that site. You're just opening it for them on their device. If you want to lock in a device or is a website, you have to focus it. So I'm going to click focus. I'm going to say students can only interact with this website. And I have to use the options below here. Now, they do have a running list of different websites that they allow, so to be focused. If you ever find a website that you are using repetitively and you want to focus it, just let me know, and I'll try to get with the Classwize engineers to see if we can add that to the focus list. So for now, I'm going to say students can only interact with this cool math game site, and I'm going to start the focus. Notice that my student devices are now being locked down to just the one cool math games. Again, it's happening right now for my students. I can see it appearing on their screen right here, and they can't do anything about it. However, there is a lag time from their device to what I'm seeing as a teacher. So always refresh is your best friend with Classwize. I'm going to refresh it, and I'm going to see that, yes, all of my students are locked into this one website. That means that as a student, I cannot open up other tabs, and I can't do other things on the web while the focus is in session. I know that a focus is in session because it's right here saying class is focused. If I want to take them out of the focus so that they can go do other things on the web, then I can just click class is focused and end the focus right there. That is under the class tools, and that's the difference between opening a site and focusing a site. I can also send a message to all of my students. So for example, I'm going to send a message to all of my kids saying, good morning, and press send. It will automatically appear on their screen as a little header at the very top of their bar, and it's going to go away after about 15 seconds. You can see right here, it just popped up on the student's bar right here. And again, there is a little bit of a lag of what's happening on the student devices and teacher devices. So if you ever need to, just keep hitting refresh. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the individual students. As an individual student, you can open a site for just one student by clicking this tab, and it's the same thing. You put in the URL and open the site just for that one student. You can also message individual students. Remember, going to the class tools, you can message everybody at once, or if I just wanted to message this student, I could just message this student right here by saying, please get back to work, and press send. This button right here says pause internet if I hover over it. If we are on campus and we are working with all of our students in front of us, it's okay to pause internet, because let's say kids are working on their device and I want to pause the internet to all of my students, not just the one student right here. If I want to pause all and get their focus back to the whiteboard, I can do that. What happens with this pause internet is simulating a cut off of internet connection for students. That means that all of their Chromebooks or whatever device they are logged into cannot access anything on the web whatsoever. And it gives a nice little blocked message for the students, very similar to this. The one thing that you need to be aware of is this pause internet also works when students are off campus. If they're logged in with their student account, it will pause their internet while off campus. So please be very aware of which students you have in your Classwize if you are using this block internet, because you do not want to be interrupting a student's learning while they are remote at home being independent. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click that pause internet, and I'm going to end that pause and allow them to have internet again. And it pops up all of the tabs on their screen, and they're back to work doing whatever they were doing prior. Again, refresh for a teacher is Classwize's best friend. Keep hitting refresh if you need to. So that is one way to manipulate a lot of things on a screen. Now, let's look at this little blue toggle bar right here, because let's, for example, say that this student was looking at something that you did not want them to see and you want to instantly block it. You can do that by toggling right here and turning it off. That means that it will block this website. Now, you can do blocking for many reasons. One, maybe they're looking at inappropriate things, or two, maybe they're off track and you need to gain their focus back again. You can block it for a duration of time, maybe the whole class period, maybe for 30 minutes, maybe for a full day. However, if you do block it and they leave your classroom, it will still be blocked for their account throughout the entire day. So be aware of that. I'm just going to say for this class duration, this student may not play cool math games. You also have the choice to block it for all students or just one individual kid. So maybe you wanted to block it for everybody or just that one student. I'm going to say just the student cannot play this game right now, and press save. Notice when that happens, there is a rule that pops up here on the right-hand side. I'm going to click that. It tells me and it reminds me all the things that I have blocked for my students. Blocked or allowed, actually. So for this one student, I have blocked this game. If I want to later, I can go ahead and just press allow, and now he's allowed to do it. I can also just go press the pencil button and edit it and just delete the rule as well. If at any time I want to do it for the entire class and I don't want to just use this blue toggle bar, you can go up here to the rules, add a rule, search for whatever rule you want. For example, ABC, yeah, and you're going to block it for the whole class today so that kids can't access it. And that's blocked for everybody. I'm going to go ahead and allow, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and delete the rule because I don't like to have rules sitting here that are unnecessary. When you are done with your Classwize class, we need to end it. Remember, I chose a 30-minute time period, so it's automatically going to end at this time. However, I'm finishing my class early, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to Classwize. I'm going to notice that it is still in session. I'm going to edit it and end it now. If I needed to, I could always extend it for further minutes if I want. However, I'm going to end it now. It's always a good rule of thumb to start a class and to end a class. You don't want to have students leaving your physical classroom without ending a Classwize classroom, because then whatever rules or blocking that you had on that student will follow them into the next class period. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me about Classwize.